everybody, this is Maddy Van Duzen. I'm the dietitian from YMCA Southcoast, and I'm here at the Dartmouth Council on Aging to talk to you about maintaining your healthy eating during the pandemic and making sure that you can still make healthy choices, even when you're finding that you might have a little bit more time on your hands or staying home more. So I'm going to talk a little bit about essential pantry items to keep in your home that have a long shelf life to reduce your trips to the grocery store, as well as some tips on noticing and decreasing mindless snacking that you might be experiencing with a little bit more time in your hands. And we're also going to talk about maintaining a mealtime schedule. So the foods that I have in front of me here are examples of some basic ingredients that you can kind of stock your pantry with that last a long time. It's so easy to get all of the fiber, protein, complex carbohydrates, vitamins and minerals from these basic foods that are, dried foods, frozen, or canned goods. So it is possible to eat healthy with these foods that can be stored for a long time or are canned or dried. So I'm just going to kind of go through some basics, some good choices and that you can make when you're stocking up on some pantry essentials. So we're going to start kind of in the grains and dried foods section here. So when it comes to grains, you want to choose whole grain products over refined grain products. So that would be like whole wheat products such as whole wheat tortillas or 100% whole wheat bread. So you want to look for the 100% whole wheat label. Or 100% whole wheat, these are like sandwich thins. So these, if you're worried about these going badly quickly when you buy them, you can freeze these, you can keep them in your fridge, they last a little bit longer. Buying rice in bulk, this is brown rice. So this is a whole grain as opposed to white rice. So the whole grains are going to give you a lot more fiber than refined grains. So when you're getting fiber from your grains, those help to keep you full for longer and give you more sustainable energy. So I have like my whole grain pasta here. This is a little bit better. Again, it gives you more fiber compared to the regular wheat pasta. You can also go for like a protein pasta if you wanted to. Like I like Banza. So that's like a chickpea pasta or a lentil pasta. That's going to give you some fiber because it's made from beans. As well as a little bit more protein too. Stocking up on your dried nuts and seeds is really good too. These are giving you a lot of fiber, a little bit of protein as well, and they're a great source of healthy fats. When you're choosing your nuts and seeds, choose low or no sodium options, especially if you're somebody who has high blood pressure or is watching your sodium intake. Most of us get too much sodium, and a lot of times, nuts and seeds are coated or roasted in a lot of salt. So I have, just whole almonds here. The only ingredient is just almonds. I got my sunflower seeds, my chia seeds, and then my nut butter here. I have my peanut butter. Looking for one without a ton of salt or sugar. You can get one that literally just has peanuts in it. And then dried beans are great too. I have my dried lentils here, but you can get dried black beans, chickpeas, split peas. These last forever, so they're a great resource. Popcorn is a whole grain. I like to buy it in the kernels, just like this. It's cheaper than getting it in the bag. And also I know that the only ingredient in this is whole grain popping corn. If you're gonna buy it in the individual bags, just look out for low salt options and low sugar options too. And there's some options that you can get with olive oil rather than butter as well. Whole wheat crackers are a great staple to have. Again, these last forever. They're great paired with a protein like hummus or cheese or like a black bean dip. Again, you want to look out for the whole wheat crackers. Sometimes it can be deceiving if they just say wheat crackers. People might think that means whole wheat, but you really want to look for the whole wheat. Make sure that it's not just saying wheat. A good granola bar, again, lasts forever. This has whole grain oats in it too, so oats are a whole grain as well. So buying a big thing of oats, this is going to give you a ton of fiber. This has one ingredient in it, and that's oats. Unlike the little individual packets that you can get, like the flavored maple brown sugar. Those options, they are going to give you the fiber from the whole grains, but they're also going to give you a lot of added sugar, which we just don't need a lot of, or any of really. So going with the quick oats and the big tube is great, and then you can kind of sweeten it yourself naturally with a little bit of sweetener or with some fruit or cinnamon or something like that. So those are our grain and dry products here. So moving on to our frozen foods, frozen fruits and vegetables can be just as healthy as your fresh fruits and vegetables. Some people think that they're a little bit less healthy, but frozen fruits and vegetables are actually picked when they're at their peak ripeness and then flash frozen. So when you're buying them, you know that they are picked when they're most full of their vitamins and minerals. So they can be great, cheap options. Again, a great basic staple to have if you're trying to reduce your trips to the grocery store because they last forever. So when you're buying your fruits and vegetables, be mindful of any fruits or veggies that are like mixed in any sort of sauces. Just look for like a low sodium, lower saturated fat option if that's the case. You can get some good frozen grain products as well. This is a really good frozen waffle. That's a whole grain. It's got, I can recognize all of the ingredients, which is really important to me. And it has some whole grains and it has brown rice flour in it too. So moving on to our shelf-stable sort of dairy products here. I have nothing against, regular cow's milk. However, plant-based milk does last a lot longer than cow's milk. So again, if you're looking to reduce your trips to the grocery store, buying a plant-based milk, this is going to last a lot longer than a cow's milk. But you can also get like a shelf-stable cow's milk if you wanted to as well. That'll last a little bit longer. Eggs really don't go bad. Some people think, I think I don't know what the expiration is that they put on here. Over time, they do lose a little bit of their quality and flavor, but eggs take a long time to go bad, like over a year. So they're a good thing to stock up on too. If you're gonna hard boil them, then you wanna eat them within a couple days, but just like your fresh eggs, they can last quite a long time. Cheese sticks as well, or mozzarella cheese, this can last a while. So these are all, your eggs are giving you a really good source of protein. They're very cheap. And your plant-based milk or your shelf-stable milk is giving you some good vitamin D and calcium, as well as same goes for your cheese as well. Choosing a low sodium cheese, a mozzarella cheese tends to be a little bit lower in fat than some of the other cheeses. So that's with those are our dairy products. So we talked a little bit about getting some good protein from cheese and eggs. Any meat or poultry or seafood that you buy also can be frozen and last quite a while in the freezer. So those are another good source of protein. My recommendation is if you're choosing beef, go for a leaner beef, 92% lean or greater. Chicken and turkey are naturally pretty lean, and those can be frozen as well. And then seafood, you can do canned tuna, which again lasts a while, or get like a frozen haddock or cod that you can keep in your freezer as well. Some other really good plant-based proteins include tofu or tempeh. Those are soy products. Those also last a while in your fridge or can be frozen. There are some good canned sources of protein as well. So I have black beans here. I have chickpeas here, there's red beans, there's kidney beans. Those are all really great sources of plant-based protein too. When you're buying your canned beans, look for an option that's low in sodium. There's a lot of variety. There's a lot of options that are now low sodium, but some of them still are stored in quite a bit of sodium. So just look for a lower sodium option for your canned proteins as well as your canned vegetables. So canned vegetables can also be a really great source of cheap vegetables. You can still get all the vitamins and minerals that you get in fresh vegetables in your canned vegetables as well. Canned fruits are a great source, cheap source of vitamins and minerals from your fruits as well. Choosing a canned vegetable that's canned in its own juice or in water is best. When fruits are canned and they're in heavy syrup, that's adding just a ton of added sugar that we don't need. So in own juice or water is best. If you're choosing a canned soup, these can be a good option too. This is a lentil soup, so it's giving you some really good plant-based protein. With soups, like with canned vegetables and beans, you want to choose a low sodium option. A broth-based soup is usually a little bit healthier, but if you're choosing a cream-based soup or a creamy soup, then choosing one that's like a low-fat milk-based rather than the heavy cream, that's going to reduce the amount of saturated fat that you're getting in your canned soup. Diced tomatoes are a really great option. They're good for chilies, or if you're making a soup. Again, you can get a canned tomato option that only has diced tomatoes in it. Sometimes they have added sugar and salt, so just be mindful of that. You really only need one ingredient in your canned tomatoes, and that's tomatoes. You don't need a bunch of other stuff. And then some other good basics to have are like your sauces. So like I have my tomato basil sauce here and a curry sauce. Much like the soups, you want to look for something that's a little bit lower in sodium. I say, you know, under 150 milligrams in a serving is kind of a good, good base to go off of. And then looking for one, sometimes these also have added sugars in them, so you want to look out for that as well, choosing one that doesn't have a ton of sugar or salt. So this is kind of the rundown for some pantry essentials that you can sort of stock up on. And with just a little bit of preparation, you can make some really great dishes with your dried foods, your canned foods, and some of your frozen foods. So that can be like chilies or stir fries. And like I said, you can create a really well-balanced diet with some of these food groups.